Hello guys! Continuing our class on the TGM Plugin Activation, in today's lesson we'll finish setting up the library and learn how to require the installation of plugins we're using in our theme. In this case we only have WooCommerce. So continuing where we left off, let's go back to required plugins.php file and clean up the file a bit. Let's get rid of this bunch of comments and other pieces of code that don't interest us for now. Actually, all this code is very interesting. The amount of code here also demonstrates that there are several usage scenarios for the TGM. But if you focus on explaining all this here, we'll never get to our goal. So let's just leave the essentials. Afterward, you can go ahead, download the file and study it more carefully, okay? What interests us is here inside this function whose name ends with register required plugins. Inside this variable called plugins, we have this main array and other arrays inside this main one. This version of the library has 5 arrays. Each of them is for a different usage. We have a usage example for when we have plugins bundled with the theme. That is when we want to include the plugin files inside your theme, and many other examples. We use this 4th example here because we want to include a plugin from the WordPress plugin repository. By the way, this one is the recommended way since the WordPress theme review know that the plugin is in the official repository and will not bring any problems to the user, in theory at least. The other forms are not very recommended. Some may make your theme be rejected and others may make the review process take a long time. So always choose this one here. So here we will point out which plugins will be marked as required or recommended after the user downloads and activates our theme. Here we are even provided with an example of use. We have here the example of the BuddyPlus plugin. And having this example here, we can go ahead and create our own use cases. First, let's remove all usage examples that we don't need. There's too much code here. We don't need all this. What we need to inform are only 3 things. The first one is the name of the plugin, then its slug, and finally if the installation of this plugin will be required or not after the theme is activated. If the last value is false, the plugin will appear only as recommended, not required, right? We only have one plugin to add to the list, which is WooCommerce. The first, say, complicated question to answer is, how do I find out the slug for each plugin? Actually, that's very easy. To complete this field, let's go to Plugins, Install Plugins. Let's find WooCommerce. Let's click on View Details. And here in this window, we have the link to the plugin page on WordPress.org. So let's click here and just copy the last section of the URL, which corresponds to the slug of the plugin. So having done that, let's start filling in our fields. Name, WooCommerce, slug. I'm gonna paste what I've just copied. Now an important question. Does WooCommerce have to be required or not? Well, we know that the theme was designed to be used on e-commerce websites. However, it's against WordPress rules that you create a theme that only works with such or such plugin. If you want the theme to be approved, WooCommerce cannot be required, okay? That's why we use that if class exists verification block several times in the theme. Because our theme needs to work with or without WooCommerce. So I'll set the value as false here. So now WooCommerce will be only recommended. If you don't want to send the theme to WordPress.org, you can set it to true without problems. If you have any other plugin, just copy this block once again and change the values. And there it is. Let's save it here. And we're ready. We just have to run a test now, but that will be for the next lesson. See you there!